Now, to go from first normal form to second normal form, we need to look at partial dependencies. Now, what we mean by that are non-key attributes which only depend on part of the key. They are partially dependent. Now, in order to check that, you have to have more than a simple single key. There has to be something that you can split up so we can look at part of the key. So obviously the first one, this student registration information at the top here, it only has a simple key. So we can't split that up in any way. So we're just going to copy that directly to second normal form. And that's the rule. Anything which has a simple single primary key is already in second normal form. We're looking for partial dependencies, non-key attributes. In this case, we've only got two that are non-key, module name and result. And we're asking ourselves, do they depend on all of the key, i.e. registration number and module code, or only part of the key? Now, if we were to do this completely, what we're basically saying is that for this example, some of the non-keys might be dependent totally only on registration number. Some of them might be dependent on only module code, and some of them might be dependent on both registration number and module code. Now, we've already got registration number up here on its own with all the things that depend on it. So we don't have to do anything else with that one. But what we can't do is copy across the compound key and then copy across the other key, which is module code. So we've now split that up into asking ourselves what depends on only registration number, what depends on only module code, and what actually depends on both of these. So this is us looking for partial dependencies. So let's look at module name. We don't actually have to think about registration number at all because we've already done that one up there. So let's think about module name. Does the name of a module depend completely on just the module code, or do we need to know the student and the module code? Again, think about some data or have a look at the data. In the original form, if I told you F34E77, you could say World Wide Web for computing. It doesn't matter who the student is. Here's some more data here. If I tell you module code D78W23, you could tell me Java. It doesn't matter which student it is. So module code on its own defines the name. Module code on its own defines the module name. What about result? Let's look at the data. If I just tell you, I think I'll look at the one I've put more information in, yes. If I just tell you module code FE3477, sorry, that's not a good example, Java D78W23, can you tell me one result? No, you can't, because in that instance it's a fail, and in that instance it's a pass. If I just tell you one student number, you can't tell me, because if I tell you a student number, you can probably come up with 4 P's or 3 P's and an F for that student. So registration number on its own is not enough. Module code on its own is not enough to identify the result. But if I tell you the student's registration number and the module code, you can identify one row. So that's what we need. We need to put result with the registration number and the module code. Now again, we have split this relationship into two because we have that information and that information there. So what is the link between them? The link is module code. Module code there links back to module code there. And it's the same question, where is it a primary key and where is it a foreign key? Now remember the rule, where it's a simple primary key, it can only appear once. So if this is a list of modules, then it can only appear once. Let's look at some data just to confirm that. This is a list of modules, so each module code only appears once. But if we look at the middle relationship, the one that has result in it, the module code can appear several times because it can appear for more than one student. So this is our 1 down here, our module code, and this is our many, and the many is always the foreign key. So that one becomes primary key and foreign key. And that is us finished second normal form now. We have student registration information, we have module information, and in the middle we have a link between two of these, which tells us which students are doing which modules and what the result was. Just as a matter of interest, if module name was there and we ended up with a relationship like that after we had normalised, then we wouldn't leave it like that, because there's absolutely no point in having module code sitting on its own like that. So you would delete that. If, let's go back, we had no data, no attributes with the middle relationship, just keys, we would have to leave it, because even if we took it away, all we'd have is a list of students and a list of modules. And we need the middle one to be the link between the two of them. But I'll just put it back to the way we are for this example, and that is our final second normal form.